One mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
They say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism, maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Yep, it is the One Mike, Big Mike show here on Spreaker.com, as well as the Spreaker app. I'm also heard live on TuneIn if you got that on your phone or your tablet or whatnot. I'm on Blastfi.com and also on my website, of course, One Mike with BigMike.com. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with me on this Monday, back from the weekend. Got a lot of football in me. Felt like yesterday. Felt like it was too much football in me, but you know, we here. We up in here, man, about to do this thing. Don't forget, follow your boy on Facebook, or like my Facebook page, I guess I should say. I'm at the number one MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. I'm also streaming live video there right now if you want to head on over and check that out. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. Same exact handle. You guys can be a part of the show via my text line at 404-902-8104. You can also jump inside my live interactive chat room. You do that by listening to me via Spreaker.com. That's SPREAKER.com, or the app for Spreaker, or you can head on over to One Mic with BigMike.com. When you're there, you'll see a little thought bubble icon on the streaming player. Just click on that, and a couple steps later, you can be a part of my show via the live interactive chat room. You can also leave your comments below the live streaming video on Facebook. I do check them throughout the show, and I do comment on them, and during the breaks I might, type you a little message or whatnot. What else do I need to let you guys know? If you don't get a chance to stick around for the entire show, do not worry. You can always catch the shows on demand. You can do it on all the outlets that I've already mentioned. You can also catch it on Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio, soon to be on Google Play as well. So that'll be another avenue that you guys can travel down to check the show out, as well as the video on demand will be on YouTube following today's episode. So moving on, setting up the show for today. Yeah, I got a lot of football in me this weekend. That college football Saturday was pretty damn nice. It was one of those things that, as a sports fan, you look at it and you say, you know what? Yeah, this kind of lived up to the billing. All those top 10 matchups, except for, before I jumped the gun on that one, except for Friday. That Washington Stanford game, can have it. David Shaw's boys got it pushed all the way in. So, setting up the show today, of course, we got to do On This Day at the top of next hour. We'll do it at the top of next hour because, of course, it's Monday. Troupe Talk, my man, former NFL and SEC tight end Ben Troupe hops on with me, and we always kick it and just talk about what happened over the weekend in the world of college football and, of course, professional football. Yeah, so we got to talk about here from my city. We got to talk about the Atlanta Falcons. And I know it's gonna sound bad, and I don't intend it to. Hold on. I don't intend it to sound bad, but someone's got to be the voice of reason. Someone's got to bring some temperance to the situation here, and I plan on doing that. So we'll talk about them. We'll praise them and we'll big them up. I'll praise them and I'll big them up, but I'll also give you guys some perspective on what you're looking at and making sure that your memories aren't failing you. We got to talk a little bit about some additional, now that basketball season's kicking off. I got a chance to see some of the Warriors game on Saturday, the preseason game versus the Raptors. And the protests have, I don't know. I don't even know what to call it anymore. Everybody's doing whatever, and I don't know. But anyway, we'll get into some of that. We'll get into some NBA stuff, of course. The rest of the NFL, got a Monday night game tonight between the Minnesota Vikings and the New York Giants. So that should be That should be all right. I didn't even notice, man. I was looking up some defensive stuff about the Falcons today, and the Giants' defense is just as horrible. Ben Troupe talks about it every week, how they wasted money on that situation, and yeah, he seems to be right. So, like I said, he'll be on at 7:30. We can catch up on that as well. And here's something that I didn't think I was going to do today, but I decided kind of last minute to do. This weekend, I think around here where I'm at on Thursday, you can start going and checking out The Birth of a Nation. Nate Parker's joint, the Nat Turner situation. And I wasn't going to really talk about it on the show, and I might not talk about it too much on the show, depending on what we're looking like time-wise and all those type of things. But Renee, you guys know Renee Cooper, who does a wonderful job helping me out with the show. She brought it to my attention. Well, I asked her about it because I saw it all on social media, and I saw people commenting on it and everything, and I wasn't really sure what was going on, and I didn't feel like, I felt like it was like gossip, so I'm not really that guy. So I just asked Renee about it, and then she told me about it, and then she texted me a link. And as much reading as I do, I ain't had no problem reading it, but I guess I was probably doing something, and then it got lost amongst the text that we sent back and forth, so I never got a chance to look at it until yesterday. He was on 60 Minutes, and then I saw the interview, and I'll talk about it later on. But I saw the interview, and then I went and I dug up a bunch of stuff, as much as I could find on the trial, on him, and things of that nature. And yeah, I can't say that I've come to any type of conclusion. I don't know how anybody else has, but I'll tell you guys what I found, and I'll get your opinions on some things as well. Speaking of opinions, we got a question of the day like we do each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We have a question of the day brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. Now, the question of the day is very simple. Through 4 weeks of the NFL season, the first quarter, what have you learned? Like, what do you know now that you didn't know before? I got a couple of things, and we got a couple of answers on this from, I don't know where it's from, Twitter, Facebook, one of these social media places. But some people answered. I asked, you know what I did also? I asked a question about Nate Parker as well. I threw it out because in talking to Renee, she said that she wasn't planning on going to see it in the theaters. She was like, if it happens to be on one day and I'm at the crib, I might check it out. And I don't think she's wrong for feeling that way, and I don't think people are wrong for saying, hell with that, I'm going. The story is more important, or whatnot, or whatever your feelings may be. So I asked two questions today. One is the official question of the day, brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com, is what have you learned through 4 weeks of the season? It could be about any team, your team, the team that your team is supposed to be a rival with, or whatever. Anything. What have you learned throughout the first 4 weeks of the season, the first quarter of the season? And then the secondary, the auxiliary question, I just want to know from people, just from my own personal, if the controversy around the movie, The Birth of a Nation, if the controversy around the creator, the writer, the producer, the director, the star of the movie, if it would detract you from going out and watching this movie that is getting these rave Oscar reviews and all kind of stuff. So that would be the secondary question. You can answer that in a gamut of different ways. You can text me at 404-902-8104. You can also jump inside my live interactive chat room like the homie Matt has. Matt answered the question too, and I'll read it off to you guys later. Matt at East Point Made Me, at Graphics Atlanta as well. So make sure you guys are following him there. And you can also drop your comments right below my streaming video, my live video on Facebook. My Facebook page, once again, is at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. Now, as far as me, some of the things I learned that Cam wants to die. Yeah, he want to die on the football field. He's believing all that Superman stuff and don't believe these dudes going to jump in his mouth. Even after week 1, even at like last night, that boy, Deion, what's that boy's name? Deion Jones? Yeah, he tried to punk that kid in the first quarter, and then, got his ass blasted trying to showboat before it was time. Yeah, it's going to be a problem for that. I learned that the preseason does matter in certain situations, as long as you're looking for the right things. You know what I mean? Dak Prescott found his NFL niche. He found where he fits in this NFL. And he continued it. He's continued it through 4 weeks of the season. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. I especially want to get my guy Ben Troupe's take on it as well when he jumps on as well. And I've learned Terrell Pryor can actually catch. And many of you may not get that joke, but a few years, like since Terrell Pryor got in the league, and I saw what he was at quarterback in Oakland, I would always ask people who cover the league, people who cover the teams that he was on, why isn't anyone putting this big, huge, fast individual on the edge and just having him run past people and catch lobs in the end zone? And then he was asked about it when he was in Seattle backing up Russell Wilson, or as a third string to Russell Wilson, I think Tavares Jackson. And his comment was, "I don't know how to catch." This dude was like Mr. Football and Mr. Basketball in the state of Ohio, but he don't know how to catch. So now I think I've learned what I already knew. An athlete that good, he can be taught to catch. Now, before we get into the rest of the NFL, I want to start here. I want to start right here in the state, in the city in which I stand, or sit as it may be, with the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons got an impressive victory yesterday to start the season off 3-1. To start the season off 3-1. They beat the Carolina Panthers, the NFC representative in the Super Bowl last year, and also the damn the 3-time in a row NFC South champion. So it was a nice victory. But we gotta not we meaning me, but as fans of the team, it's important to temper your enthusiasm. No Super Bowls have been won. Matt Ryan, MVP? No, sir. They don't give that out after the first 4 weeks. Matt Ryan's had, so far, and I talked about it a little bit on Friday, he's on a historic pace, or he's doing some historic things right now. Not even pace. He's doing some historic things right now. So, as it stands, yeah, there's a lot to be proud of here, right? But again, it's all about temper. And I know who I'm talking to. I've been here. This is my home. I've been here my whole life, and I know the fan base here, that every loss, it's like dismantle the team. With every win, it's like, where the hell the damn Lombardi trophy at? Look, I understand it, but I've always, since I've been on the radio and now being on the internet, try to be the voice of reason. And it's going to be hard on a day like today. No doubt. Your man, Contreras Lopez, 12 catches, 300. I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to. It's like buying your kid a dirt bike for Christmas. Yeah, he's going to lose his crap. Yeah, so I can understand it, but I will also remind you guys of last year. And not only the record stuff, because and I'm glad Matt is here today too, because Matt was the one last year. Matt was like shutting people down. Look at what's going on. Number one quarterback, number one running back, number one wide receiver. That Decatur almost came out of me for real. Wide receiver. But no, it ended up going south late, because that's what the NFL is. Things tend to return back to the mean. So you can, if you're out in LA, celebrate. You know what I mean? If you're out in LA, celebrate that weird I don't know how the hell that badass football team is 3-1, but they are. But we'll get to that later. This was one of those games where I was looking to see how the Falcons were going to respond, especially after last week, Julio catching like one ball in New Orleans, something that seems to be unheard, and they won the football game. You feel what I'm saying? So they go against the Carolina Panthers after seeing the 19th, 31st, and 32nd ranked defense in the league. The Panthers ranked number 3 coming into the game, not after giving up 4 million yards in the game, I don't think. But yeah, after coming into the game, yeah, they were actually, third in the league. Matt Ryan finished the game again. Historic stuff here in the city of Atlanta. 28 of 37 for 502, and 300 of those went to Quintor's Julio. If you don't know who I'm talking about, the Panthers did come in, of course, without Jonathan Stewart. Michael Orr was gone, and that boy Dwight Freeney, he was like, "Yup, time to eat." 2 sacks yesterday. I'm still very, very, very concerned about the defense as a whole, but still concerned about I'm concerned also about Vic Beasley still. You know what I mean? Because he should be having some effect on the game. I was watching the Raiders yesterday, and Khalil Mack started off slow. Khalil Mack is the all-pro everything yet last year, right? And he started off slow, but then if you watch the games, he's not getting the sacks, but what he's doing, he's getting hits on the quarterback. He's forcing holding penalties. He's forcing offensive linemen to jump off sides. Those things still affect the game. It don't happen like that here in Atlanta with number 44. It would be nice to see him pile up sacks and sacks and sacks, but even if you don't do that, affect the game, bat some balls down, things of that nature. Let's get back to the positive, though. The Falcons' offense. This is the positive side of this team. 35 points in each of the last 3 wins. That's what it's going to take, to be honest with you. And the thing we got to also understand is that that's not something that can be sustained over a 16-week season. Just saw somebody mention Kyle Shanahan. Matt mentioned that Kyle Shanahan called a pretty good game, and he did. He actually did, man. And it didn't help. It didn't help that Carolina was like, okay, so what? So what? I don't care. Yeah, what you mean? But what's that kid's name? Benet Ben Wickery? Yeah, come on. He need all kind of help. Like, Ron Rivera got to be better. He's supposed to be this defensive coach, this Buddy Ryan disciple and all that kind of thing. He got to be better than that. Like, if all else fails, what New Orleans did last week, it's like, all right, cuz, if Justin Hardy and Jacob Tammy, if they gonna beat me, I deserve to lose. But if a dude, not a dude, the dude, hit me for 300, yeah, he's good. You feel me? He's good. Matt's good. But these are professionals. You can't be that arrogant and that locked into your game plan where you don't have some sort of like, all right, if it start going off the rails, we got to start doing this. Even if you put 2 dudes out there like it's damn punt coverage, cuz you don't let that dude run wild. You know what I mean? Like, if Muhammad Sanu catch 8 for 120 and a touch and you lose, all right, well, you know, ish happens. If you don't got somebody on your team that can win against Muhammad Sanu sometimes, he's a good wide receiver, but he ain't number 11. If you ain't got a dude on your team that can win against him a good amount of times, he don't need to be in the league. And, I don't know if y'all saw the Panthers fans, and then your man couldn't shut his damn mouth, and he shouldn't. I felt immediately that stuff that they pulled with Josh Gordon was ridiculous. Like, if you wasn't gonna sign him, okay, just do that. Ain't no need to franchise him and keeping him off the market. Then let him go do his thing. And then it became like, all right, now I got to find a team. So now he lands with the Washington Redskins, and I told everybody to just hold on. I'm gonna bring this up to Ben because I think he said it too. That whole system corner type situation. I told everybody to hold on because if you're not watching this dude's skill set and you don't realize how big he is and how fast he is and how lanky and long he is, like that dude he's made like the corner, like a corner everyone wants. He's Richard Sherman but faster, and he has an understanding of the game. And from the first game of the season, you remember that fullback dive that went for the touchdown in the first game of the season against the Broncos? Yeah, that was a corner. He was in the hole. The fullback ran by him, and the kid didn't see him until he was 5 yards past him. Straight up. You guys remember? That don't happen when you got an all-pro back there. Like, stuff, just little things like that. And then, like, this weekend just illuminates it. Because last year, like, Julio had a good game against the Panthers, remember? In the game that they won. But a good chunk of that, if you guys remember, came with that jump ball against Luke Kuechly. And the other thing that Kyle Shanahan did last year, he put Julio in the slot a lot last year to keep him away from Josh Gordon. The times that they matched up, I remember talking about this and having the Pro Football Focus stats. When they matched up together, Josh Gordon did a wonderful job against him. You know why? Because he's tall and lanky and big, and he's physical with that dude. These dudes was giving Julio this free release, like, all right, yeah, I'm going to let you off the line, and I'm just going to make up the speed. Yeah, right, douchebag. Things no one has done in ever. Ain't nobody ever let that dude off the line free, and then it was like, yeah, I'll just play catch up. If Deion in his prime was out there, he still couldn't let that dude off the line and catch up to him. He must be the only question involved was if Matt could get it there. You know what I mean? That's the only, and I'm not bagging on Matt's arm. I'm more so big up in Julio's speed. Could he get it out there? Because that dude, like, you watch this dude running, it's like a damn freight train. Yeah. So with most things, with most great performances, sometimes like Kobe's 81, yeah, it comes down to like at some point, Sam, damn it, Sam, at some point, talking about my man Sam Mitchell, you gotta get the damn hand, you gotta get the ball out this dude's hand. You know, Kobe's just dropping, 80 points, and everybody, even the other team, are spectators. Yeah, all right, sweet. Sweet. I'm seeing these dudes in my chat room getting to this Nate Parker situation. So apparently I do have to talk about. I'm not gonna do it now because I'm still talking about the Falcons, but it's coming up in the next hour. After I talk to Ben, and tomorrow my my second video log will be up, and it's about this same situation. I did that this morning. And I'll get it prepped and all that kind of stuff for it to be posted tomorrow. But I didn't feel like I was going to be able to be as exacting as I wanted to be, just in getting all the sports stuff in and all that stuff as well. It is the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here on Spreaker. That's SPREAKER.com. You guys make sure you sign up for your free Spreaker accounts. And then once you do that, search for my show, One Mic with Big Mike, and then follow me on Spreaker. Once you follow me, you guys can jump on in the live interactive chat room like my man Matt and I Am No Doze, and of course the wonderful Renee Cooper has as well. If you don't want to do all that to get in the chat room, you can text the show at 404-902-8104, or you can leave your comments below my live streaming video on Facebook, my Facebook page being at the number 1 MIC, WITHBIG MIKE. Now, back to these dirty birds. And all I'm trying to do, because when I was reading today, I saw a lot of people talking about, the Falcons detractors. Nah, not me. It's my hometown, man. I want the team to do well, but I also want the people who support the team and ride or die with the team to also be informed fans. And again, this might not be the right day to do that, but I'll try anyway. Through 4 games, Matt Ryan has almost 1,500 yards in the first quarter of the damn season. 11 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The passer rating, bananas, 126 for whatever that means to you guys. And the big number, 72% passes completed. He's not turning the football over. I think he threw 1 pick this year. And back to my comment about it being historical. What? Yeah, not many teams. This is not many teams would be sitting at 3-1 after allowing 31 points per game. This is what I was talking about last week. I was talking about this during the preseason, asking Matt Ryan to shoulder the load of an entire team because the defense is not helping him out any. They're giving up 31 points per game. That's not help at all. Now, those and the things that you can't rely on, you can't rely on turnovers. Like those things come from, sometimes you get a tip ball, you get a bad pass. You can't necessarily go into a game relying on those things. You can try to force them, but you can't rely on them happening. At some point, you're just going to have to stop somebody. You're going to have to affect the other passer. You're going to have to do some things on defense to stop people. And right now, unfortunately, the Falcons ain't built for that. Now, back to Matt Ryan's historical start to the season. Only twice since the merger in 1970 has a quarterback started the season with 1,400 yards and 11 touchdown passes in the first 4 games. You want to know who those 2 guys are? Sure you do. Peyton Manning in 2013 when he threw like 55 touchdown passes and he got the MVP. And Tom Brady in 2011. It's 2 pretty damn good names to be associated with. But still, the enthusiasm still has to be tempered. You know what I mean? Because, again, these things have a way of kind of balancing themselves out. You don't know what injuries are going to come down. It's like now, you lost another defender. Weatherspoon is out with another Achilles. Like every time he set foot in this damn city, right? He had damn Achilles injury. Going out to Denver, they're gonna play a real ass defense. That defense is real. I don't know if you guys have, since game one in prime time, have seen those dudes play ball other than the highlights. Yeah, that's a real defense. Wade Phillips got those boys on 10. You understand? So it's gonna be a test. They got a real secondary with Harris and Aqib Talib and them boys back there. It's a real deal. And they got the type of secondary that's this. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not sure that you'll see it this weekend, but if you do see it, you heard it here. They got the type of secondary that can do this, that can double Julio with the second best receiver, second best corner, and then put the best corner on Sanu. And say Justin Hardy and that other kid and Jacob Tammy, have at it. Let's go. If you want to try to run the ball with Freeman, here's the other thing. It looks like Tevin Coleman may not be available because he's got that sickle cell trait. You know, with that high altitude, yeah, it could kill him. You know what I mean? So it's not one of those things, for what I understand, listening to Ryan Clark, because he has it as well. If you guys remember that playoff game that everybody gives Tim Tebow that credit for, Ryan Clark didn't play in that game in Denver because of the sickle cell trait. So he says it's not as dangerous as it sounds sometimes, but, you know, for a lot of people, it's not even worth taking the chance. So your boy Dan Quinn is saying that it's a likelihood that he will play, but I don't think you can just make that dude play and then, you know, something happen. Nah. So the other thing that I really, you know, would like people, if you're a Falcons fan, to be worried about is, after everything I read to you guys about Matt Ryan, the understanding should be that that dude has played perfect football. All right? And none of these teams you played that you beat, you haven't smashed anybody. Like, games have come down to, like most NFL games, down to the fourth quarter. Now, that's usually cool, but that's usually in a situation where, you know, both teams may have turned the ball over once or twice, and penalties and things of that nature come into play. The Falcons have played pretty clean football, which lets you know that the problem is they can't stop anybody. And I don't know how that changes midseason. You know, I don't know if Vic Beasley just one day, you know, turns the corner. He made a play yesterday, a tackle for a loss on a broken play by Carolina, and he got up all excited. But in all actuality, if you watched it, he was unblocked anyway. You know, they were supposed to be reading off of him, but Cam and the running back at the mesh point, I think it was, I don't know if it was Artis Payne or if it was Fozzie Whitaker, one of those cats. But, you know, a guy that he hadn't worked with as much as Jonathan Stewart. And then it was all, you know, effed up. The other big positive that I want you guys to take away from this, something that never really gets talked about until it ain't about nothing, the damn offensive line. That offensive line looked good. That pickup of, I heard, I forgot who I heard say it, and I can't credit them if I don't know who said it. I heard somebody talk about that Alex Mack pickup, you know, as non-sexy as it may be, it might have been one of the best pickups in the offseason. Straight up. You know, you got Jake Matthews a couple of years now in the league. He's coming into his own. Everything looks good on that side of the football. And I think it was Steve Young that said it right before I got on the show, that the last time a number one offense has won the Super Bowl was in that New Orleans Saints year. You know, that big year that Drew Brees had. So it's going to be an uphill climb for this team. You know, starting with the next 2 weeks. I think, who do they have in the next 2 weeks? Denver. And then coming back home, is it home at Seattle? Something of that nature, man. So two defenses that can cause some problems for even the best offenses. So we'll see going forward. People should be happy. People should absolutely be happy with what they're putting forth offensively. But coming in 30th in the league, last in total defense and last in sacks, and not even affecting the quarterback until Dwight Freeney gets in the game. And like I said yesterday, man, that dude's a vet. He saw that the starter wasn't there, the blind side wasn't in there. Yeah, he just started eating. I'm like, yeah, it was time to get full and purge. What is it called? Binging and purging? Yeah, that's what he did yesterday. 2 sacks from him. But that only gives the team 4 on the year. 4 sacks. And one of them came from Desmond Trufant. That's got to get better. It's the One Mike with Big Mike show. I'm here Monday on Spreaker.com. I'm also on the Spreaker app, so if you guys want to take me with you, download that joint to your mobile device. I'm on TuneIn if you already got that on your phone. I'm on Blastify and, of course, OneMikeWithBigMike.com. Make sure you guys get in touch with me via text at 404-902-8104. You can also jump on in the live interactive chat room. It's pretty active today. You know, Matt jumped in this thing, and I don't know, I think somebody was arguing about Nate Parker. I'll check it out during the break here, though. Or you can also leave your comments below my live stream on Facebook, my Facebook page being at the number one MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. In 90 seconds, it's time for Troupe Talk.
I have one question for you. Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Time starts now. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat? Where can you find the answers to these questions?
Car crashes are one of the leading killers of U.S. children. Many of those deaths could be prevented by making sure that kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
Yep. Back on a Monday, man. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Hope you guys had a good weekend, too, man. It was a nice one here in the A. Didn't get really above 80 degrees, man. So, you know, I live in Decatur, so unless it's like 55 or 60, yeah, the bro's still gonna be out half naked. I don't got to worry about that. You know, I'm a settled man myself. Don't forget, I'm on Spreaker.com each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting at 7 o'clock. I go to about 9 o'clock every day. I'm also on the Spreaker app, on TuneIn and Blastfy, as well as my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. You guys can jump on in the conversation via my text line at 404-902-8104 or by jumping into my live interactive chat room. Just click on that little thought bubble you see on the streaming player. Also, while you're there clicking on stuff, click on that little heart to indicate that you like the show. And those little share buttons there, use them. Share me with your friends, man, on Facebook and Twitter and all those things. You can also comment below my live streaming video on Facebook. I'm at facebook.com/the1MIC, And now, like we do each and every Monday, it's time for us to get down and recap this past weekend of college and pro football. I call it Troupe Talk.
It's time for Troupe Talk.
What you talking about?
We're talking NFL and college football with former NFL and SEC tight end Ben Troupe.
Ben Troupe at the 15, at the 10, hurdles a man, spins to the 5. Oh my! Still on his feet, still pounding to the goal line. He's gonna score! He's gonna score!
Troupe Talk. Troupe Talk.
We heading to the top. If you come on.
On One Mic with Big Mike.
Yep, if you coming, come on. I got my man Ben Troupe here with me. Y'all know him from the Florida Gators. He was an All-American down there in Gainesville. You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram at BENTROUPE84. What's going on, dog?
Man, doing great, man, as usual, man. Thanks for the platform, man. I'm loving it.
Look, man, so over the weekend, we got to, here's the thing that got to me this weekend as far as the college game. You know, we always start with college. The games were good, man, except for Friday. You know, we didn't get much from Stanford on Friday. I guess they thought they was playing on Saturday, and they ain't show up on Friday. But the rest of the games that were supposed to be good, and even some that weren't necessarily supposed to be these highlighted games, were still pretty good. That Florida State UNC game, good. The Florida Tennessee game, which we'll get to here in a second, because I know you probably want to talk about that. But of all, man, what impressed you the most out of the college games this weekend?
It's almost like you said, living up to the hype, man. When you think about Clemson, Louisville, Lamar Jackson versus Deshaun Watson, lived up to it. When you look at the Tennessee-Georgia game, I mean, Obviously nobody saw that game doing what it did. The UNC FSU game, the Wisconsin Michigan game, the Florida Vanderbilt game, and the LSU, the first game without Les Miles. They put up a running attack without Leonard Fournette. So I just think that, when people always compare NFL to college, and you see why people love college football a little more, because ain't nobody getting paid per se. At least we don't think they're getting paid. Right. But it's like, it's just the fact that these guys understand that every game matters. And hey man, I enjoy myself thoroughly. Even though I root for one team, I root for all college football players, man. And if you ain't a college football fan after this weekend, man, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, man. We had a nice weekend. Like by the time Sunday rolled around, I'm not even gonna front, man. I was like, I've got to watch these games because I have to talk about them. But I was done, dude. I was full. But on the other side, other than the game we mentioned on Friday between Washington and Stanford, what disappointed you? Other than your gate, your gate is disappointing me, bro. Like that Vanderbilt situation. Yeah,
that disappointed me. Obviously, I'm a homer. I'm always rooting for them. It disappointed me. Not. Obviously, we won the game, but in the manner in which we had to win the game.
Coming off that loss, you would have thought they would have been madder.
You know what? It was a trap game. It really set up for a trap game because you think about it, no offense was really doing anything, and it was really a defensive struggle. And now one thing about it, man, the Florida Gator fans, Gator Nation, man, we travel well. We travel on the road, but it was real sluggish. It didn't have to be a 4-quarter game the way we made it, and it's almost like Appleby fumbling on the freaking 2-yard line. It's like, come on, man. It's just we played nothing against Vanderbilt, but we played down to the competition, and we come out with the W, but it was just very, very lackluster, man. If I wasn't a Florida Gator alum, I would have turned it a long time ago because, it's crazy. It was so many games that were so good that weekend. Right. We didn't add to it. We actually took away, from the overall, nauseam that was going on that whole weekend.
Why is it a situation that seems like Florida can't produce offense anymore? Like we used to know growing up. I grew up in the era of the fun and gun, the Steve Spurrier. Yes. That's like my era, and you always knew that they were going to be able to produce offense because of because geographically of where they at. They're in Gainesville, Florida, so all the talent is there for them, and you see the talent over the last couple since Muschamp and all those guys. You see the talent there defensively. Why can't they seem to put it together on offense? And I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna get off the Florida thing, but I'm just curious about what you think about that and why that's happening down there.
I'm gonna say lack of focus. I really, really gonna say because, like you say, if you didn't have the athletes, it would be understandable.
Right.
But you do got the athletes, and you getting the top athletes every year. And the thing about it is, you got to place an emphasis on the offensive side of the football. Yeah, Del Rio went out this year, just like Will Greer went out last year. Mm-hmm. So we go from Treon Harris to Austin Appleby, but that's no excuse. The guy who's throwing the football still got athletes all over the field. Tell me a receiver that's better than Antonio Callaway.
Absolutely.
Tell me a tight end that can produce like Goolsby. Tell me, we got a 4-head horseman that running back with P. Ryan and the two Jordans and Mark Thompson. So people say it's offensive line. No, you got to place a focus on. Like think about it. You look at what we was able to do against a Tennessee who ain't got no slouch defense. You see, it's like what Florida? We have no consistency from week in to week out, and until we get an identity, man, we're gonna and the schedule only gonna get tougher as it goes. We're gonna have to make some strides in a hurry.
Absolutely. The other voice that you're hearing is my main man Ben Troupe. He joins me every Monday at 7:30 for Troupe Talk. You guys know him from the Florida Gators. He was an All-American back in 2000 through 03. He was a second-round pick from the Titans in 04. He's also a Georgia-Florida game Hall of Famer. I can't leave that out. He's a Hall of Famer. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Ben Troupe 84. Speaking of, we got to go from Florida. Let's go to Georgia. That pile of garbage that happened on the football field. Like, here's the thing that happens with college football and with college basketball so many times, man. Like, people see these frenetic finishes and be like, man, that was a hell of a game. It wasn't. It wasn't played well. It wasn't coached well. Nothing was good about that game except for the excitement at the end.
But you know what, Mike? It's because you understand football. See, football is like golf. Until you understand that the ball is supposed to go a certain way, you enjoying golf to somebody saying it don't supposed to go that way.
Right.
The green is to the right. oh, you just happy that you make a contact. So the thing about football is, this is because you understand. Listen, I'm happy that Tennessee ended up winning the game. It proves. See, if Tennessee don't win that game, it looks like Georgia actually called a good game, but they didn't.
Dude,
even in Tennessee,
both of those teams deserve to lose. I wish both of them could have lost.
And the thing about it is, it's one of those things to where it proves two things. One, Tennessee is very lucky, and you're going to need more than luck moving forward. Mm-hmm. Two, Georgia is just like the Atlanta Falcons. It's almost like think about it. I'm from the state of Georgia, so I grew up, rooting for the Georgia Bulldogs because, you live in that state, just like I moved for the Atlanta Falcons. And in the back, the Georgia fans have a back of their mind mentality. In the back of their mind, they don't think Georgia going to do it. They want them to do it, but they're like, man, it's something about these Georgia Bulldogs, and they can't blame it on Mark Richt no more. He's in Miami having a lot of success.
Right.
It's just one of those things to where Georgia is one of those teams, because they're the number one college team in the state, take nothing away from Georgia Tech, they're going to always get the benefit of the doubt. But unfortunately, they are a good team, never be considered a great team, because they never going to win the game they're supposed to win. And Georgia celebrate the smallest and the biggest. There is no reason why that Tennessee player should have caught that ball. And I take nothing away from his effort. He is surrounded by black and red.
But here's the thing. It wasn't even just the play. It was everything leading up to the play that was bad. Like, Tennessee deserved to lose the game because on that Georgia touchdown pass, on every short pass, their DBs were doing what? Undercutting the ball, trying to be heroes and get interceptions. Then, of course, what's going to happen? It's going to go over your damn head. So, okay, they deserve to lose. But then Kirby Smart says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get smart. I'm going to kick this pop kick and let the dude return to midfield where a kid like Josh Dobbs, right. Right, because, of course, a kid like Josh Dobbs can't reach the end zone with his arm. Get out of here, man. He's ridiculous. We got to move on, man, because...
Here's the funny thing. My mother is a huge college football fan, and I knew something because Florida game's over. So I knew something happened with Tennessee because she kept blowing my phone up, and I just happened to go to ESPN, and I had seen it, but I'm like, I know. Yeah. And see, two things: it makes Joshua Dobbs look like he's a pocket passer, and not, and it makes the Georgia defense look exactly like they are. They are a middle of the road defense because it's just one of those things to where you just say to yourself, man, how does it even get to this? How does it even get to a Hail? People don't catch Hail Mary. They compete. This is what they should do. And I say this: don't put DBs in the game for Hail Marys because they ain't built for it. Put your receivers in.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Like how Detroit used to put Calvin Johnson in, because for some reason DBs don't understand the concept of boxing out, slapping the ball down. That's it.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It was a lack of playmaking, coaching.
I'm happy to Georgia lost. You know why? Because Georgia fans are like New England Patriots fans. They act like you really be saying something crazy about their team. Now, the difference is New England is a powerhouse. Georgia is, so.
All right, so let's talk about the two more games real quick because we got to move on to the NFL. Let's do this quickly. Yeah. I want to talk to you about Clemson and Louisville, and only from this aspect. I think we got a hell of a game. We got to see two top-tier, both offenses and defense. We got to see two teams play football. Of course, there were mistakes made. It's college football. Of course, there were turnovers, maybe too many from Clemson to really win that game. But when it's all said and done, I want to ask you two specific questions. Did Lamar Jackson do anything to hurt his Heisman chances? And now also, is Deshaun Watson, based on the win, is he a little bit more closer to Lamar Jackson than he was before the game started on Saturday?
No. No, Lamar Jackson not hurt his Heisman chances, and Deshaun Watson not closer to it because I believe Deshaun Watson actually played better because of Lamar Jackson. Because you got to think, Lamar Jackson is an anomaly. He came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Lamar Jackson is playing the way we expected Deshaun Watson to play.
Right.
And the thing about it is, Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, man, he plays with a lot of poise, and he plays within the confines of the offense. He don't try to do too much, but I still think Deshaun Watson going to be the number one pick in the draft. I don't think he's lost that. But as far as I don't even think it's close. With the quarterback position, the way Lamar Jackson, I don't think it's close. Because you can't. This is the thing. Lamar Jackson put his team in a position to win the game. Did they win? No. But you take Lamar Jackson. To me, Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson both possess something. If you take both of those guys off those teams, they're very, very mediocre because they that level of player. So I don't think Lamar Jackson hurt his Heisman chances, but I don't think Deshaun Watson, unless he just has a crazy second half of the season, I don't see him superseding that man because Lamar Jackson's staying out of his mind.
Got you. And now the way the ACC is formatted, possibly two teams can make it. And those two teams being Louisville and Clemson, with Florida State losing to North Carolina, which was amazing. But you know what? The other game that I was very impressed with, and a lot of people, you talk about knowing the game of football, a lot of people might not see this as an impressive game. That damn Wisconsin-Michigan game. Sir,
yes.
There was some football being played. Like, plays were being made on offense, and kids were selling out on defense and playing sound, fundamental defense on both sides of the football. I was very, very impressed with them. What was your take on it?
I love that little crazy little formation that Harbaugh came out with. I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Everybody stacked up behind each other.
And what I like about it is Harbaugh say, I don't got time to be holding plays back. If I got it in the woods, if I got it in the toolbox, I'm going to pull it out. But that one in the pick that DB had, that's crazy.
The backhand.
To me, and I got to say this, Jabril Peppers is supposed to be the man in that Michigan defense. He's being outplayed.
You think so?
He's being outplayed by a lot of other guys. Not miles of the way, but I'm saying Jabril Peppers is supposed to be that guy, in my opinion, that's supposed to take games over. And I understand he's still Jabril. He's still
I love that kid, man.
But I'm saying, you got to think, though, Mike, if I know that everybody's watching him and I'm on that defense with him, I want to keep flashing, too. And then I know we here to see Jabril, but who is this guy? See, it's like you got to have those one-handed picks and that stuff, but great game, man. The 14-7 didn't do it justice. That was a great football game.
And I think Wisconsin showed a lot. They showed the nation that that Georgia State thing was a little bit of a fluke. Even the thing with LSU, that LSU win doesn't seem as good anymore. But how they played Michigan, it was an awesome situation. Let's move on to the land of the NFL, and we are talking right now. We're doing Troupe Talk, talking with Ben Troupe, former NFL and SEC tight end. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram, y'all, at BENTROUPE 84. All right, so the Patriots seem to have taken my advice, man. They went on ahead and took that week off and was like, let's get ready for Tom. Look,
got to keep it honest. They got to keep it honest.
But here's the thing, though, and I think what happened was you, me, all of us, we gave the Patriots so much credit for getting Jacoby Brissett ready on 3 days without saying to ourselves, but wait, the Texans also had to prepare for this kid on 3 days, and no one knew anything he was going to do. Right.
Exactly.
Now, this week, Rex Ryan's like, all right, they're going to come out and try to run the option and whatever. Let's kick him in the damn mouth, and they can't score no damn points. You feel me? So, I think it's one of those things that we all found out. And then here's the question, because today, our question of the day, and it's brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com, is now that we're through the first quarter of the season, man, we're going to start here. What have you learned? What did you know? What have you learned between the end of the preseason and now the end of the first quarter of the season? What have you learned about anything? You can. It's pretty broad.
I've learned that I don't know who's wearing number 1 for the Carolina Panthers. As they say, it's Cam Newton.
Don't worry. Don't matter, because he's gonna die here soon in a minute. He's gonna die in a minute, so don't worry.
A lot of teams have a lot of talent on paper. They can't seem to put it together. I don't know what's going on in Arizona. I just don't. I don't know what's going on in Arizona right now. I just think that, they Super Bowl hopes going to be dashing real fast. I think Dak Prescott is the truth.
Absolutely.
I think he's the real deal. No matter what. And you know what? And even though it's one game, Paxton Lynch, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's like these rookies don't have a lot of tape, but they want some ball. I mean, take nothing away from, even Carson Wentz. I think I'm very, very impressed by the play of these rookie quarterbacks, man. And I'm going to tell you what I'm impressed with. I'm impressed by St. Louis. People can say,
don't say that, Ben. Don't say that.
When I say I'm impressed by them, I don't expect them, listen. This is what I'm going to say. I don't expect them to make a lot of noise toward the second half, but because listen, the beast of the East, the beast of the NFC West will always be Seattle.
Yeah.
I don't care what Russell Wilson does more with less than anybody I've ever seen. If Russell Wilson, he got to take tap dancing, because this boy can move them feet. He got to be able to. If he can just sit in the pocket and make plays, but what he was able to do against a Jets defense that ain't no slouch, he made them boys look athletes. I mean, real athletes. So I'm very impressed by the young quarterbacks. I don't know what's going on with Carolina. I really don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on in Arizona. Somebody need to tell the DBs for Carolina that Julio Jones wears number 11
or something,
like,
dude.
He wears number. That is 3 games. That is 3 games worth of receiving yards. And listen, Julio Jones is one of the best in the league, but is he 300 yards
right.
better?
That's what I said. I was like, all right, he good, but damn, come on, do something. Like, just do something.
Realistically, when I'm watching, you know how it is, Mike. You know how like you go to ESPN.com or something just to get the stats. And when I'm looking at Julio, I'm like, that right?
It's got to be wrong, right? It's got to be wrong.
And then I look up at Matt Ryan, 503 yards. I'm like, see, and that's the problem with Atlanta. They're gonna say, well, Matt Ryan just passed a 503. Yeah, but Carolina ain't really been Carolina this year either. It's like, I'm gonna tell you who else I don't know what's going on. Tampa Bay, come on, man, something got to give.
Yeah. Let's go back for a second though. Let's go back to what you just said though, because I don't remember precisely, but I think it was you that told me that Josh Norman was a system corner. I think you and I had that conversation. But now things have kind of played out over 4 games, and we saw glimpses of it in the first game and a little bit throughout the season. And then it kind of just like napalmed yesterday. But that defense misses him, man. And you can only compare it to what happened last year. How Julio had like 100 yards, but he had one big catch on Luke Kuechly.
He had a good game in the dome last year, but they still won. But it's the thing, Josh Norman says the best. Just like you go to your restaurant,
right,
you get what you pay for.
Yeah, you're right.
You can get a steak of TGI Fridays, but you can pay a little more and get a real steak of Ruth Chris.
Right.
It's on you.
Right.
It's gonna cost a little more, but so. But like I say, I still don't think Julio was 300. That's right. What you call like, not adjusting.
How does this happen?
Adjust.
Yeah, and to have
if you don't adjust it,
to have a defensive head coach and just be so, I don't know what the word, like, just to be so arrogant. Like, all right, no, we got it. No, you don't. You don't have it.
You really don't.
300 yards later, you still don't have it.
Or I'm going to tell you who else the truth. And Pittsburgh, man. People need to watch out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, Pittsburgh, and I got to say this, and it's going to sound like a homer again. The Oakland Raiders.
No.
I mean,
it don't sound like a homer. Look, dude, I like that kid, man.
Listen, Derek Carr.
Yes, I like him.
Derek Carr went in the second round. Now, Blake Bortles, take nothing away from Blake. He went top 10 or whatever. You telling me Blake Bortles is miles and a head away from Derek Carr?
Can I give you one worse than that? The Cleveland Browns took Johnny Manziel in front of Derek.
Did you see that Johnny Manziel? Did you see that Johnny Manziel trying to buy the rights to Johnny Football?
Yeah, he's a clown, dude.
You shouldn't be worrying about nothing.
Yeah, he's a clown bag. He's a clown bag, man. Let's go back. Let's come back here though. Let's come back to the Atlanta Falcons. Like you're very critical. You're like my man Rob. You know Rob Calloway. You know him.
Of course.
Yeah, and so I started the show off. I don't know if you heard it, but I started the show off telling the people here in Atlanta that I'm trying to be their voice of reason. You know, I understand that it's hard. It's hard to hear reason today. You know what I mean? It's hard to hear reason because of what you saw yesterday. I can't front on that. It's like 30-something points a game. You can't really front on that. But you can't have amnesia either and understand that the league is full of ebbs and flows. People adjust, weather changes, dynamics change. And the team is going to have to change with it. And you saw a team in the Atlanta Falcons last year that didn't change with the dynamics and ended up 8-8 and out of the playoffs. Can you piggyback on that for me, brother?
Well, it was. I got. Listen, what was it? 3 years ago, the Atlanta was on 12-4, 13-3, best record in the league, right?
Was it that?
They got the first round bye.
Yeah,
they got the first round bye, something like that. See, this thing about Atlanta. Atlanta. This is the only thing I say about Atlanta, and this is. Can you win the game you need to win?
Yeah. See,
what hurts Atlanta is games like yesterday. 503 yards, 300 yards passing. But the problem is Atlanta defense is like the Colts when Peyton Manning was there. They're used to playing with leads. They are used to playing with leads. Can Atlanta defense stop you when they need to stop you? I don't believe they can.
Even those Colts defenses, they had players. You know, they had Cato June, they had Bob Sanders, they had two great pass rushers in Freeney and Mathis. Right.
They had Dwight Freeney and Mathis.
This team has one pass rusher.
What's the linebacker they had? What's the linebacker they had for Russell?
Gary Brackett. Right. This team has one pass rusher. He's 94 years old. His age is the same as his jersey number. You know what I mean? And he's still putting in work now. Don't get me wrong. But nah, don't no championships get won off that. You know what I mean? Like,
listen. At the end of the day, I can't. Am I a closet Atlanta Falcons fan? Yes, because I'm from the state. I can't act like I'm not.
Right.
But
Same here.
I'm real. I'm realistic. I'm gonna tell you what else happened. I mean, even though it's off the surface. 2 years ago, who had the best record in the league? Atlanta Hawks. They had the best record in the league, not just in the East. What happened?
Yeah.
There's a thing about Atlanta Falcons and the Hawks. Can you perform when everybody's watching? It's a bunch of games on yesterday, so you might not have caught Atlanta. But what if they prime time? You see, that's the only thing about Atlanta that scared me is, can Matty Ice be Matty Ice when the pressure's on? Because Julio ain't got no business not getting double and triple. Yeah. If Julio Jones had 300 yards, somebody need to get fired. Because that means he's getting singled up. This boy run down the field like his pregame. I'm like, what a defense that? Crazy.
I want to ask you before I let you go here, and I got like 2 more questions for you, but I want to ask you about something that you said earlier, and I am talking to Ben Troupe. It is Troupe Talk. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Ben TROUPE 84. You mentioned how Russell Wilson does more with less than you ever seen. I want to ask you that same question, or I want to get you to give me that same synopsis on Andrew Luck. I feel like people, the day he was drafted, they started trying to fit him for one of those gold jackets, and now they're realizing he's actually a human being, and he's not the second coming of the greatest thing we've ever seen. So now everybody in the mainstream media, the white media, they don't want to be wrong about him. So it's everybody else's fault. He don't have no help here. He don't have no help here. He don't have no help here. You just said to me that Russell Wilson's doing more with less. Tell me why Andrew Luck can't.
Well, I think you just said, well, Andrew Luck was anointed this. He's 14 years later, oh God, we got another 10, 15-year Hall of Fame quarterback.
Right.
But this what people said. This what people don't give Russell Wilson that they give Andrew Luck. They give Andrew Luck the benefit of the doubt. Andrew Luck is a turnover machine. His first 2 years he went like 11-5. But who led the league in picks? He was in the top
and
5
fumbles
all 3 years. And fumbles. So what happens with Andrew Luck is this. Andrew Luck has been to the playoffs, never won Super Bowl. They gave him a blank check and said, write what you want. Only because he's the first pick. Russell Wilson had to show people, listen, y'all getting mad at me for benefiting from a great defense in the running game. Didn't Ben Roethlisberger benefit from a great defense in the running game?
Did.
That's how he won 2 Super Bowls.
Absolutely.
But Russell Wilson don't get the benefit of the doubt. So what does Russell Wilson do? Okay, beast mode goes out last year. I got to go throw the ball. I'm putting up a Pro Bowl number. This year, Christian Michael's supposed to be that guy. Not so much. I'm still putting up the number. So I just think of Russell Wilson type of guy, he can really win with anybody. You put Russell Wilson on the coach, they're going to win because he's that type of player.
Absolutely.
I don't think Andrew Luck can win with Seattle. And I think certain players can win anywhere. Other players have to win in the system in which they was given. I think Andrew Luck is a system guy with great talent. I think Russell Wilson is I could play in any system. So that's just how I see the two players because Russell Wilson, in my opinion, man, he'll never get the benefit. Now, people forget, I played 3 years in one school, and I went to another school my senior year, and I still balling.
Yep.
So I think the boy is he's just gonna keep on doing what he's supposed to do, man. And he got a nice looking lady on his arm too. So I can't be mad at that either.
Throw that in there. Last thing I got, man, for you, and I appreciate your time, and we got about a minute left here. But I want to ask you this before I let you go, Des Bryant. The off the field stuff aside, because I think that's been blown out of proportion. But that stuff aside, Des hasn't been available in the last 2 years, and as he's not, I used to have a coach that say you never stay the same. You only get better or you get worse because everybody, when you're not working, everybody else is working. And look what we're seeing. We're seeing Julio. We're seeing AJ. We're seeing D-Hop. We're seeing all these receivers, I think, passing Des Bryant. And then while they're passing him, guess what? The young quarterback, Dak Prescott, he's doing all right without him. So are we at a point where the Cowboys are going to have to make a decision on Des Bryant here pretty soon?
I think they are, but I think what's really saving him is Jerry Jones. I mean, Jerry Jones is the type of player, he's very, very loyal to certain players. Not all players, but he's very, very loyal. Look at the loyalty he showed Tony Romo. But I think the thing about Des Bryant, at a certain point, it used to be a time where they say great talent supersedes bad behavior.
Yeah.
But when that bad behavior and you're not on the field,
you're not available.
See, it starts getting magnified. Because, he can come late to meetings and miss meetings when he's top 10, top 5 in the league in catches, yards, and touchdowns. But like you said, I ain't seen you in a minute. but yeah, you signed for $75 million 2 years ago. You and Demaryius Thomas, y'all did it right behind each other. The difference is Demaryius Thomas plays through injury. You seem to can't get past injury. So while Dez Bryant is super duper talented, you know it better than me, Mike. You can't live off what you used to be forever. You just can't. I can't sit in the park. I can't sit in the barbershop talking about how I dunked on Jordan, but the film got messed up.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things to where Dez Bryant, it's almost like because he's so talented, that actually hurts him because we know what you're capable of doing, and you got a young quarterback that's still winning games with a rookie running back. So I wish the best for Dez Bryant, but the difference is, and Deion Sanders says the best. The only person that can dictate what he does on and off the field, depending on how well he plays or not, is quarterback. If you ain't no quarterback, they won't get rid of you.
Right. There it is. Ben, another episode of Troupe Talk down, man, and we'll do it again next week, my brother.
Appreciate it, my guy.
You got it. It's the one and only Ben Troupe, SEC All-American, second-round draft pick by the Tennessee Titans. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at BENTROUPE. I'm going to come back. I got to do On This Day, of course, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about these college football games, and then before we get out of here, we'll have this conversation. We'll continue this conversation, I guess, the one that's been going on in my chat room here. We'll continue that about Nate Parker, the birth of a nation. It's coming out this weekend, and I want to get some thoughts on that as well. To give me your thoughts, just text me 404-902-8104. You can jump inside my live interactive chat room. If you want to just click on that little thought bubble you see on the streaming player, you got to be listening via Spreaker or have the Spreaker app, of course, my website, One Mic with Big Mike. Just click on that thought bubble. It'll get you inside the live interactive chat room, or you can just leave your comments below my streaming video. I'm live right now on Facebook, facebook.com/1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. Got On This Day in about 90 seconds.
I have one question for you. Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You could kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
One Mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One Mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One Mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Bang Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Sorry about that. I was scrolling back through these chat room comments and this conversation these dudes is having about OJ murdering people and not being a murderer. I don't know. This is One Mic with Big Mike here on a Monday, man, on Spreaker.com. I'm on the Spreaker app as well as on the TuneIn app as well. I'm on BlastFi.com. We gotta find out what we're doing with this BlastFi situation, so I can elaborate more on it when I talk about it on the show. I just mention it every day, but I don't know what the hell it is that we necessarily do with it. I pay for it every month, but I don't know what it's for. I'm also on the website, onemicwithbigmike.com. If you guys don't get a chance to stick around for the entire show, don't worry. Every show is on demand on all 4 of those platforms I just mentioned, as well as on Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and the video will be on demand on YouTube. So you guys make sure you subscribe to my YouTube page. Subscribe to my iTunes. What is it called? The iTunes channel or YouTube channel and my iTunes page. I don't damn know. It is what it is. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. Text the show at 404-902-8104. You can jump inside this crazy ass chat room and I'll delve into it. I'll try to delve into it a little bit here in the next segment, not this one because I got to get this college football stuff out as well as on this day. Is that all I need to talk to you guys about? I believe so. I'm going to read some of these social media comments too as it relates to Nate Parker and the question of the day, which is brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. Jason Hill replied to the question, which is, by the way, what have you learned? I asked Ben True, what have you learned in the first quarter after the first quarter of the season? What do you know that maybe you didn't know before? He says nothing new. NFL is Jekyll and Hyde as usual. Parity still exists as always in the league. Like, some of this ain't even parity. Like, Ben telling me he liked that Ram situation. I don't know, man. I might need to reassess this situation between he and I every Monday. That Ram squad is bum as hell, except for like Gurley and my man 99. But that's it. Tavon Austin, get your ass out of here. I just run straight. Anyway, man, let's take a look back.
Now, let's take a look back. On this day.
Y'all got me wanting to do this Nate Parker thing now, man. When I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna, as Jay-Z would say, the great Sean Carter would say, no ad-libbing N-word, stick to the script. Anyway, on this day in 1948, the NFL becomes the first sport televised as the sport of the week. On this day in 1970, the baseball umpires called their very first strike. On this day in 1982, Scott Weiland runs a Detroit Marathon backwards in less than 5 hours. I'll give y'all one guess. Yeah, it was a white man. I ain't even gonna get you to guess. It was a white man. Had to be. Bruh don't play that. Speaking of bruhs, on this day in 1989, Art Shell became the first African-American head coach in the modern NFL when he took over the Los Angeles, at the time, Raiders. On this day in 1990, George Brett becomes the first to lead the league in batting in 3 separate decades. That's pretty ill. On this day in 1995, speaking of the one, Orenthal, is it James or Jerome? I ask that every time, don't I? Yeah, James Jerome Simpson, whatever, O.J. Simpson. He was acquitted of the 1994 murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald L. Goldman. Simpson was later found liable in a civil trial. On this day in 2004, the Montreal Expos play their last game in their 36-year history. The Montreal Expos, their claim to fame, I guess their claim to fame would be they are actually where Jackie Robinson broke into the major leagues. Not the Dodgers. He started off in the Montreal farm system before going to the Brooklyn Dodgers. You know, little black Afro-American history for you. And finally, on this day in 2012, Miguel Cabrera achieved baseball's first Triple Crown since 1967. He led the league with a .330 average, 44 home runs, and 139 RBIs in the regular season. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your Monday edition of On This Day. All right, let's get back to it, man. All right, let's get back to it. These folks is going in on this whole... yeah, see... Oh, yeah. I'm gonna wait because you folk, y'all are hitting on some stuff, man, in this chat room. You guys can jump on in as well if you want to. Just go to Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. Search for my show, the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. You'll see a thought bubble on the streaming player. You also see it if you're listening on my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. And I'll click that little thought bubble. Then they're having a little conversation about this Nate Parker situation. And Renee's writing paragraphs. God. You know, but it is what it is. We'll get to that in the second in the second half of this last hour of the show. But first, let's talk about Saturday. Let's talk about Saturday night, man. I had a good time Saturday watching football. I mentioned it to Ben Troupe in the last segment. That Tennessee-Georgia game was straight garbage all the way around. It wasn't played well. It wasn't coached well. It wasn't defended well. The quarterback play was spotty as hell. get cats was like that kid Jalen Hurd, what is it? Jalen Hurd, bouncing into the end zone, getting the hell knocked out of him and fumbling the football, like all like stuff like that. Like I don't like bad. Like even if the game is close and has an exciting ending, bad football is bad football. Period. And you guys, if you listen to the show, you know my take on bad football. I can't stand it. I didn't get to see that damn North Carolina FSU game. I kind of undersold FSU. They got this quarterback over there, Mitch Trubisky. He hit Florida State with 405 yards. He only missed 7 throws and 38 throws. You remember when Mickey Andrews used to coach defense over there? What the hell's going on? He hit him for 4 touchdowns as well. And again, Florida State got off to what? Another slow start, going down 21-0. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out real quick because I'm not going to really talk a whole lot about it because simply I didn't see the game until the end. And then when the end came and the kid Francois threw the touchdown pass, I'm like, all right, let me go downstairs and grab something to eat real quick. I come upstairs. I still don't even know what happens. It's like 2 hours later that I realized this boy hit a 57-yard kick to win this game after these dudes done had all these drops, these fumbles, these missed extra points, and still pulled an upset on Florida State. You don't deserve to win the game. I'm glad I didn't see that garbage, man. Then there's UGA, the dogs. And Ben's right. There's a lot of false optimism here. And then it's always so fun. I wish I was a dude that recorded things like quickly like people do. That's never my first instinct to do that, so I always miss stuff. But that fool, Rob Calloway, called me. And I forget, we were talking, he was on the way somewhere. So I was telling him what was going on in the game while we was talking about something else. And then we hang up. And then this kid, Jacob Easton, hits the pass. No, the fumble. That's what it was, the fumble in the end zone. I was like, man, you want to know what happened? He's a big Georgia fan, like a big Georgia weirdo. So I tell him, he's like, oh, man, yeah, man, whatever, I don't care. And then the dude hits the long pass down the sideline. This dude calls me on the phone, cussing and all hype and going crazy. Yeah, 10 seconds later, Hail Mary time. No call, just a text. Man, F this junk. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm so glad that I'm just a dude that just enjoys the games without that emotional tie to the game. It's because when you're on the outside looking in, it seems so ridiculous. It absolutely does. He's like, I don't give a F what happened tomorrow. Talking about the Falcons until struggle face. Yeah, that's what he called me saying. Look at all them Tennessee struggle faces. Yep. It ain't over till it's over. So anyway, I talk about the Jalen. The whole day Saturday, I'm just sitting there taking notes on all these games. I should do it more. You know what I mean? That's like the professional way to do it and not try to remember every damn thing. So I took a bunch of notes. And the game was like a back and forth situation, but it just wasn't played well. And it just got illuminated at the end with that like pop-up kick for no damn reason. When they had everybody up, just kick it through the damn end zone. Let them take it at the 25 or whatever it is and make this kid go 75 yards to beat you. The Tennessee side was just a stupid. Butch Jones and his crew. I thought that dude was going to have a damn aneurysm. I thought Kirby Smart was going to have an aneurysm. They're going to have like collective aneurysms. But that's what the people here wanted, remember? We got to get somebody in here that's fiery. Yeah, be fiery, but pay attention to the damn game. Like, don't be so caught up in being the show. That's what a lot of these college coaches do. They try to be the show. Let the camera get on them. Butch Jones over there all red and all. Man, quit that. It's always so amazing to me. These dudes, they preach containing your emotion. They preach discipline, and they be the main ones flying off the handle. Like yesterday, Bill Belichick, he throws a tablet, and that's a big deal for an NFL coach. College coaches, man, these dudes go absolutely ape crap. But yet, they want the 18-year-old to be the mature one and fly off the handle when some 18-year-old kid gets an unsportsmanlike conduct. Yeah, it don't really translate. You know what I mean? So that's what that's all about, that UGA situation. I talked with Ben also about the Michigan-Wisconsin situation, and I like that. Once again, sorry, Renee. The Michigan State Spartans, they are who we thought they were, or who everyone else thought they were. Not very good football team. And it's just crazy to say that because they'll probably lose, 2-3 games, and that'll be considered a failure. It's just weird how that works in the world of college sports, in college football. Oh yeah, this team lost 2 games. They suck. What, really? Yeah, we live in a world where we expect 18, 19, 20-year-old college kids to present perfection. But the Michigan Wisconsin game was a tough Big Ten, old school Big Ten game. Like, you line up, I'll line up, and at the end of it all, somebody's going to win. We're going to all be hurt. We're going to all be beat up, but somebody's going to win. When a lot of penalties going on, you can tell that both these teams are coached well. You know what I mean? Not a lot of penalties. Cats just doing what they do, tackling on defense. It was a very well played college football game. Plus, one of the quarterbacks' name is Hornibrook, so that was pretty awesome to keep hearing because I'm a child. Yeah, Hornibrook. Now the game it was sloppy part of the way, but it was understandably sloppy. You know what I mean? If you have never been to that place, and I'm talking about Clemson, Death Valley, it's one of those things that's so hard to put into words as to how ridiculous it is. I went there a couple of years ago, more than a couple of years ago. It's like a decade now ago, and the place is so loud. And I promise that I'm not being hyperbolic when I say this. The person right next to you, you cannot hear what they're saying. The stands are shaking. It feels like everything is about to fall apart. It's like one of the most eerie feelings ever. So in a game of this magnitude, and then like I was there to see like Marshall play Clemson. So a game of this magnitude that's got all these Heisman hopes and all these national championship hopes, these ACC championship hopes riding on it. My gosh, it was no wonder why. Like, I think maybe two of the first three plays, or three of the four, whatever, the first were false starts on that offensive line because you couldn't hear I know they couldn't hear anything. But like Ben alluded to, this kid Lamar Jackson, man, he's cold. He's ice cold. He's colder than cold. He's ice cold. And we saw a kid who understood. He understood the magnitude of the game, but didn't let it consume him. Didn't let it take him out of what he was going to do because they was coming. They was coming after him. And the one thing that troubled me, they was kind of playing that the way people decided they were going to play Mike Vick, like speed him up, speed his process up. People initially thought that if you blitz him, it's going to be problems because he'll break your contain and then have your DBs looking crazy. And we all here in Atlanta seen that happen plenty of times. But inevitably, what people found to do was don't blitz them traditionally with like linebackers, blitz them with speed, fast guys that could also tackle. And they were doing that at the beginning of the game. Clemson was. But for whatever reason, they came out in the second half and they were showing them a lot of 4-man looks. And my man got real comfortable real quick. You know what I mean? And it's something to see this dude run around against Syracuse and Charlotte. And even now, Florida State. I mean, we kind of deem Florida State this defense because of what they've been. But look what happened last week. The kid from North Carolina ate him up. I don't know if they got to play Brad Kaya, who I saw this weekend as well. They was in Atlanta playing Georgia Tech, excuse me. Mark Rick and the boys came up here and got a victory over Paul Johnson's guys. But when you see this dude play like real defenders, which Clemson has, and you watch him just kicking that extra gear, it's like, oh my God, this is a special kid. And I don't know if you guys saw this. Number 7 at Virginia Tech in the 90s or the late 90s to 2000. It was something that I didn't think I'd ever see again, and I'm seeing it now. He got that same little flick of the wrist, shot with the arm. He's probably gonna have to work on that because it takes away from the accuracy sometimes. But speed, it's speed like really. You're not going to just go to the Walmart and pick it up off the shelf. It's something that's hella serious. Deshaun Watson played a cool game. He turned the ball over a little bit, and he looked hesitant rushing the football at times. But inevitably, they're the ones that went away with the win. And the crazy thing was, he didn't panic either. After that 26-0 run that Louisville went on after the half, he didn't panic. It's like he understood. Two young dudes that understood the situation enough to say to themselves, look, we got time. We always got time. I would love to see this game on a neutral field. And I think on the neutral field, some of the mistakes that Louisville made, although they are a highly penalized team, I think some of the mistakes that they may not have, especially those false starts that were definitely crowd induced. They wouldn't have made them, and it would have made their job, the task they were up against, a little bit more feasible. But still, yet it came down to one final play. That was also affected by a penalty. Instead of having 3rd and 12, they would have had 3rd and 7, in which that little out route they threw would have been money, first down. I'm still questioning the young man's effort, though. The young man who caught the football, I'm still questioning his effort, that he didn't leave his feet. He didn't put his head down and try to run the kid over to make sure he was over the mark, because it's college football. It don't matter. If you run the dude over and it's a first down, the clock is going to stop anyway. So in college football, the first down is your friend. You got to make sure you get it. And the fact that the situation, that he wasn't aware of the situation enough to put forth the effort when he and his team, when they fought the way they fought all week long, all night long, I should say, it's one of those unfortunate situations that we didn't see. Well, I guess we did see an epic end, but it wasn't, one of those couple of throws into the end zone, guys making plays or not making plays, or like the Vince Young situation in the Rose Bowl where he takes it upon himself, things like that. Now, of course, with all this winning and losing and all these things, teams moved up and down the polls. And this is the One Mike with Big Mike show. I'm here on Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. And the Spreaker app. You guys can get your own Spreaker accounts, and I suggest that you do that. It's absolutely free, so go ahead and sign up for them. And once you do that, you got to search for One Mic with Big Mike, and after you search for it, follow me. Follow me on Spreaker. That way, when the show goes live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, guess what? You get an alert telling you it's time to rock and roll. And that way, it's easier then. You could just you're reminded also to share me with your friends and tell your friends, look, this kid is trying to do his thing. He's on, the internet now. Maybe some of you, one of you, maybe have heard me on the radio before when I was, on CBS or what. I just thought about that. My man called me today, railing me or texting me about the promo I do before the show. Like, man, you got on the damn 680 shirt? Yeah, I do. It's clean, and it's one of those it's one of those dry fit material things. So it's like wicking the moisture. That's cool. You know what I mean? Also, don't forget, you guys can jump in on the conversation if you want to text the show at 404-902-8104, or you can jump inside the live interactive chat room if you're listening via Spreaker, the Spreaker app, or you're listening via my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. Just click on that little thought bubble. You'll be right up in there. Also, make sure you click on that little heart as well to indicate that you like the show. Or you can also just leave your comments below. I'm checking the comments. That's why I kind of paused. You can leave your comments below the streaming video. I'm streaming live video right now on my Facebook page. It is facebook.com/1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. Now, on to the movement. Not like the movement, not like Colin Kaepernick, but the movement in the polls. Clemson moved up 2 spots to number 3. That means they have 6 ACC teams that are ranked. That's 6 for the ACC, 6 for the SEC. So, again, I'm going to keep bringing this up every time I get an opportunity to. Like, the SEC is not this, like, king of the kings of head and shoulders above everybody. Folks is playing football. They playing football in the Big Ten. They playing football in the Pac-12. They playing football. No, not in the Big 12. They're not playing no damn football. They just out there effing around. Charlie Strong about to get his ass axed, man. On some real ignorant stuff, too, man. And it's not – I ain't even asked Ben about it. And I meant to because he played for that dude in Florida. Or he coached the defense when – he was a defensive coach when Ben was down there in Florida, and I forgot we ran out of time. I got to start keeping Ben's answers shorter so I can ask him more questions, because I always think of stuff after I talk to him or whatnot. But, yeah, man, he about to get his ass axed. He done told the dude he's taking over the play calling duties on defense. I'm like, look, dude, that sounded to me like you just auditioning for your next coordinator job, because ain't nobody giving you no damn head coaching job no more. Especially now that you left Louisville, and look what's happening with Petrino in his second stint there. Yep. Just remember Charlie Strong, man. When the off season comes and Stephen A. Smith is hollering about no black coaches getting consideration, yeah, fair is not a word that I live in. You know what I mean? Like at certain times where I was always taught, because I look the way I look, you got to do extra. You got to go harder. And I remember hearing a story about Coach Eddie Robinson when his black quarterback, I think it was going to be the first black quarterback drafted, and he wasn't going to go to the league. And Eddie Robinson told him, you got to go. Because if you don't go, it's going to give him an excuse not to draft no more that look like you. You feel me? And it may be unfortunate, man, but Charlie Strong bit off this huge chunk called Texas, and that ain't the game you want to play. Like Mac Brown was a stalwart, even though it ended poorly for him. He was a stalwart down there. You can't follow that with no humbug, and that's exactly what happened. They can't stop nobody. They can't stop a damn nosebleed. You feel me? Anyway, let me get off Charlie, man. And again, I'm not the dude ever to be like somebody needs to be fired. But when I feel like it's inevitable, I will discuss it. Yeah, I think it's inevitable that he's gonna be a dude looking for a gig when it's all said and done. Louisville, after the loss to Clemson, they slipped a couple of spots down to number 7 this year. Number 5, Washington, they went up 5 from 10. Washington, that squad and that nice little quarterback they got, he's on my Heisman list. I hadn't seen him, I should say, all year, but I got to see him on Friday, and yeah, he's okay. Chris Peterson's out there from Boise State. Like, there's certain dudes you understand can just coach. Like, this dude went from coaching Boise State, and people was like, oh, well, it's Boise, whatever. Took the gig, his dream gig, from what I understand, at Washington, and now it's getting busy out there. Number 10, Miami. They moved up 4 spots after taking down Paul Johnson's boys. 10 ranked teams lost. So that's what we see in all this damn, this movement and all this kind of stuff. Renee, cover your ears. And if Deshaun Taylor's listening, you might want to cover yours too. Michigan State no longer ranked. Yeah. They lost consecutive games for the first time since 2012. And they're unranked for the first time since 2013 under Mike D'Antoni. Of course, Texas out of there. And then you got number 23, Florida State. They fell 11 spots after losing to North Carolina, which they should have. I don't even know that they should be in the top 25 anymore. I guess they had to be. Stanford, they took that ass whooping, man, and dropped out of the top 10 to number 15. And then there's number 11, Wisconsin, who was at number 8 last week, but they gave them a little demotion for that 7-point loss to Michigan. I didn't check to see what was going on as far as coming up in the upcoming week in college football. I'll have all that, of course, as the week goes on. Here's my Heisman list, I guess. Deshaun Watson crept back up in there. It's not in no particular order. I don't really do lists, but guys who I think will be invited to New York, of course, Lamar Jackson. I definitely don't think that kid did anything to hurt his chances. It would have been good for him to get that signature win. The Florida State win is cool, but now here they go losing to North Carolina, so it's like, all right, and then we don't know what they're going to be like for the rest of the season. That young quarterback is one of those things, man. Like, Jimbo's going to need some time with that young quarterback, Francois. I think he's going to be good, but we got a taste of something at the beginning of the year against Ole Miss, and we thought we was going to see the reincarnation of Jameis Winston, and we actually have not so far. So it doesn't mean that he won't and can't mature into that, but it may just take him a little bit more time. So then Jake Browning, the kid from Washington that I just talked about. I like him. He's a redshirt sophomore, so he's good to go. He's seen a little bit, and Chris Peterson's a good coach. And then a guy who Ben said he don't really like, he thinks is getting some of his shine, his luster taken off of him. My man Jabril Peppers. I think Jabril Peppers he's a mother effing football player, just all around. I told you guys last week, man, this kid is leading the nation in punt return, but also leading the team. Is it the team or the nation? Either he's leading the team or the nation in tackles for loss as well. I don't know where they do that. I've never heard a thing like that ever in history. Before I go to break, let me make sure that I got everything out that I wanted to talk about as far as this college football stuff. I did. It just seemed like over the weekend, it seemed like it was just so much more, going on, and so many other things to do. Tell you guys what. I'm going to take a quick 90-second break here. And when I come back, I'm going to try in 90 seconds to also read some of what's been going on in my chat room. Once again, you guys still got time to jump on in if you would like to. Go to Spreaker.com or download the Spreaker app for your mobile devices. And after you do that, search for my show, the number 1, MICWITHBIGMIKE. That's how it's spelled. And after you do that, like my show, and then hit that little thought bubble you see on the streaming player. That'll get you inside the live interactive chat room. You can also text the show at 404-902-8104. Or you can leave your comments below the streaming video. I'm streaming live video on my Facebook page, facebook.com/the number 1, MICWITHBIGMIKE. You can also use those numbers and those avenues to answer the question of the day, which is, what have you learned after 4 games, after the first quarter of the NFL football season? What have you learned that you may or may not have learned before today? So in about 90 seconds, we'll come back and we're gonna jump into this Nate Parker situation. I don't know how deep I'm gonna get to it because I still want to talk about some basketball stuff as well. And there was another protest that apparently had already been going on in the NBA, but no one noticed until the Colin Kaepernick protest started. So we'll try to mix a little bit of all that stuff in, and we'll get out of here and watch some Monday Night Football. How about that? This is the One Mic with Big Mike show.
I have one question for you. Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Time starts now. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat? Where can you find the answers to these questions?
Car crashes are one of the leading killers of U.S. children. Many of those deaths could be prevented by making sure that kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go!
Yeah. Low. All right, we got one more segment left in this show. About 28 minutes left tonight. The Monday Night Football game has already started between the New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings. You know what I didn't do? I didn't go over the scores, the NFL scores from over the weekend. I got caught up in talking about this Atlanta Falcons situation here in the city. I lost track and didn't do it. Maybe I'll do it before I get out of here. You know what I mean? I had a wonderful weekend of fantasy football. Ben effing Roethlisberger, DeMarco Murray. Hell yeah, man. It's a nice weekend of fantasy football for the kid. This is the One Mic with Big Mike show here on Spreaker.com. I'm also on the Spreaker app. I'm also live on TuneIn, Blastfy, and of course, the website onemicwithbigmike.com. The show is also on demand on all those outlets as well as iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, soon to be Google Play here, and I don't know how long it takes them to approve, but I'm looking to be approved by Google Play, so it'll be there as well. The video from my Facebook Live stream that's going on right now on the Facebook page, One Mic with Big Mike on Facebook, that'll be available on demand prior to tonight's show as well. So if you guys if you didn't get a chance to hear the entire show, or if you know somebody who bowed out early and couldn't stick around, maybe because Monday Night Football is on, that's terrible programming by me. I shouldn't be programming this Nate Parker thing against Monday Night Football. I apologize. No, I don't care. So yeah, I got a chance to read what was going on in the chat room as it relates to The Birth of a Nation and its creator, writer, producer, director, star, Nate Parker. And it's such a convoluted situation. And what I'm seeing going on in the chat room is people who know what happened, and I think that's a crazy place to start the conversation as it relates to this guy and this young lady, and the other guy, Jean Castile or Celestine or however you say it. I'm not sure how you say the name. I've only read it and I haven't heard it. Let me kind of give you guys a kind of a glimpse on how this came to be. I had been seeing, they talked about the movie coming out, and everybody, had their own take on that too. Another slave movie and this, that, and the other. And people found out what it was. It was like Nat Turner dude that went through and was like slaughtering black people, white people, and trying to take his freedom. So everybody was like, hell yeah, about time. But then, and I didn't get a chance to find out exactly how it happened. Like how, we ended up realizing that Bill Cosby situation came back to the forefront because of a guy named Hannibal Buress, a comedian, who brought it up. And it's like, yeah, we ain't forgot about your stuff from back in the day. But as time went on, of course, many people felt like this was something that was just brought up out of the blue. Like there aren't many news articles and many things that are documented on that Bill Cosby was able to get covered up. So not to necessarily uncover that. I didn't get a chance to find out the origin of where this story reemerged from on Nate Parker, because it happened somewhere around 17 years ago on the campus of Penn State University. And I'll tell you guys in a minute if you don't know what the it is. I feel like I'm the only one who didn't know what the it was, because I saw the stuff about the movie, then I started hearing the stuff about, man, people was like, F that dude and forget him and he's this and that and the other. And I didn't really know what it was about. I felt like it was some sort of like rumor type stuff, and I wasn't sure. So after seeing it for a while, I ended up texting Renee like, what's going on with this Nate Parker kid, with this kid doing this movie. And then she gave me like the Cliff Notes version of it, that he was accused of a sexual assault while he was in college. And I think I didn't even understand it then either, that how long ago. I didn't understand the timeline. Like I'm thinking it was like something that was recent, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wait, this grown ass man was on a college campus, getting it in with co-eds? Like, what the hell? I didn't realize that at the time. And then she texted me an article, and like time passed, and we text back and forth quite frequently. So by the time I could have sat down and read it, I totally forgot about it. I'd forgotten about it. And it wasn't until I was watching football yesterday and they was about to do a piece on him on 60 Minutes. So I was like, all right, bet. Let me check this piece out and see, what I can glean from it. But then because I'm me and I knew there might be a possibility of me doing this, I went way, way deep. Folks, I'm reading transcripts from testimony. I'm reading the recorded phone call transcripts. I'm reading the investigator, what's his name, Weaver, his investigation. I'm reading all this stuff on the witnesses and what they were saying. So I'm needless to say, I'm caught up on the situation. Now I immediately text Renee. I'm like, I feel like I'm reading an episode of Dateline. You know what I mean? Like one of those things where when the show is over, it's just like, okay, did the MF do it or not? Like I'm just stuck here, like, and then they give you like the poll question: do you think Nate Parker did this or not? And I'm still like, I don't know. And it's so convoluted. You know what I mean? And it's one of the other things that kind of mucks it up is that he and his man John, he's Haitian, so I'm assuming it's John or Jean. Celestine, okay, his roommate. They were co-defendants, but Nate was totally exonerated, but his man got sentenced to jail, and then they upped his sentence because they felt like the judge was being too lenient. But then they came back under I actually had to write this down, under an appeal of an ineffective lawyer. And they say his lawyer was ineffective because he failed to object to the admission of hearsay statements and an illegally recorded telephone conversation. The young lady recorded them illegally before the police stepped in with a warrant and started recording. They had a couple of recordings of these dudes having conversation back and forth with this young lady. A conversation which identifies Celestine as the second perpetrator in the assault. According to the decision, Celestine's counsel failed to require enough proof from the Commonwealth that the victim did not consent to sexual activity. Now, again, that's where it gets kind of just muddy and murky, because when he does have this second trial, or when they're preparing for it, I'm sorry, the prosecutor decides that it's going to be too much trouble to round up the witnesses again. The young lady is ready to testify again. Like, she's ready to go through it again from what I was reading, from what her sister was saying. But the prosecutor felt like they didn't have a case because they would have to go around, like one of these dudes was in like the Navy and people was all around the world to round those people up for the case. It was a no-go. This is where, again, it's hard for me. When I hear Nate Parker last night say his man was exonerated, he wasn't. He got off on a technicality, and that's, to me, a very different thing. So let's talk about like the exoneration and all those things. Here's where I can't just do that. You know what I mean? I think so many times, especially with black people, it's easy to use that when it's convenient for your side of the let's call it argument. You know, I don't trust anything about this legal system. So someone being found not guilty or guilty doesn't do anything for me. I saw a dude murder a kid in Orlando, Florida, stalk him, engage him, and then shoot him, and then walk out the damn courtroom and go home. I see cops all the time kill people. I saw one today here in Douglas County. Kill a dude, justified shooting. Let's ride. So some dude just getting exonerated, I can't let that be the thing to make me say, all right, well, the court said it. Nah. Because I also saw a dude this weekend win $15 million for a wrongful conviction. So I'm not the dude that's going to use the court system in my argument. I'm the dude in this situation that says, honestly, I don't know. Like, you'll hear it in not my podcast. What is it called, Renee? My weblog, my video log. You'll hear me talk about it in the video log if you check it out tomorrow. I don't even have a title for it. I just did it today, and I'll figure that out later. You'll see it on my social media stuff. That with these type of situations, it's not a dude that like jumped out of the dark and attacked a woman, because any rational human being says, I know exactly what that is, that forced thing. You know, forcing himself on that woman. But in this situation, like Renee, I read that Renee was like, you know, she feels as though these two guys took advantage of this girl while she was drunk. Well, then there's accounts and people saying she wasn't that drunk. She was aware of what she was doing, and she was embarrassed the next morning. Like, in a situation like that, who do you believe? Especially, and here's where I've caught a little something from people, because people love to use the word like victim shaming when you're trying to just put forth preemptive measures in these type of situations. Like, there was one time I talked about during that Vanderbilt situation. I tweeted, I was like, ladies, like, it doesn't seem like people are going to protect you. Protect yourself. You don't have to take every drink that a man offers you. Like, where is that even from? I'm gonna look that up. Like, where is that from? Like, for that to be the guy's opening thing. Like, hey, can I buy you a drink? Like, that almost, I don't know, alludes to the fact that he's trying to get you in a different place mentally. Like, that's just the thing, though, right? Can I buy you a drink? And my bigger point is this. When I make statements like you don't have to take every drink, it's not saying that if a girl gets drunk she should get raped. No, what I'm saying is, after the fact, it hurts someone like me, or like Matt's in the chat room and Renee's in there and I Am No Dose is in there. Guess what? If we're as adults on a jury and we have to hear testimony, and a great part of the testimony, especially in a criminal trial, is, I don't remember, but I feel like, you know, this, that, and the other. In the first example I gave, the woman who gets jumped on trying to like walk out to her car or whatever, she knows immediately, yes, I was attacked and I was raped. A lot of times the females that we're talking about in these college situations, they're not even sure. That girl in Vanderbilt, it was the saddest damn thing ever, man. That girl she was insistent that she wasn't raped until she saw herself on camera. These dumbass dudes, and I'm glad they dumb, because now they in jail for being so stupid and for being criminals. They recorded it, and the police had to show her herself being sexually assaulted. Like, at that point, that makes it very hard for someone to decipher if another human being should go to jail over it, when the burden of proof is what? It's beyond a reasonable doubt. But if the person who is doing the accusing, if they even have doubt, that's a hard case to make. Now my man is like, he's real talk, saying like, look, I didn't do this. You know, but I think the words he used last night was poor judgment was made, but poor judgment was made by everyone involved. With that being the case, like what do you say? And I think the case gets even more dicey and sticky when the fact that the young lady took her own life comes into play. But I did also, in what I was reading, it talked about her life too, her life before Penn State, her life after, because this was, it happened like 11 years later, and a lot of things that happened in her life after that, she had a child, and there was heavy drug use and things of that nature. And her sister talked about her actually being like psychotic in a way where she would think she was the Lord and Savior, or sometimes she would think she was Satan. And I don't mean just like oh man, that bro crazy, not like that. I mean like clinical type stuff, to the point I think they took her son away and would close the shutters and everything to make sure so she wouldn't just try to pop up at the crib. It got to be that point. But as a grieving family, when you feel like the trigger, and then that happens and you don't have any definite answers, because I think this whole situation is full of indefinite answers. There's a few people who know what happened, and what the weird part about it is, one of the people who doesn't know is the person who it potentially happened to. That's what makes it so hard for me to, I look at my chat room and I see Renee saying, what if it was your daughter that this happened to, or what if it was this? And that whole thing, here, I'm going to say something about that. I saw that before. I saw somebody said if a dude ever has sex with a girl and she's drunk, it's rape. That can't be true. that can't be true. You know what I mean? Because I've been drunk, and I've had sex with girls that were drunk, and we've had more sex, and we've hung out, and we've done plenty of stuff together. We weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, you know what I mean? But we were drinking, you know what I mean? And I saw something else on television. This white lady who's like, she's like an advocate or some sort of that thing. She says she teaches young men to get enthusiastic yeses. And you say, what is an enthusiastic yes? She says the girl has to be like, yes, I want to have sex, yes. Okay, I'm like, broad, how dry is your snatch? When has that happened ever in the history of any human being having sex? Ever? At some point, it's just like, you know what, dude? Like the white dude in Stanford. She's knocked out unconscious. Let's start there. Don't mount her there. Even in that situation, that's a much more clear-cut situation than this situation with Nate Parker, because someone actually was riding by and saw this dude and had to go snatch his white ass off this young lady. And as everyone knows, kid ended up getting 30 days or whatever the hell it was, some little pissant sentence for raping this young lady. Other thing that I always say on this show, the way I always talk about America hates me as a black man, the world hates women. The world's been taught to hate women from the very beginning of time, right? If you're a Bible reader and you're a believer and all that, look at your book. Yeah, ain't nothing good about it. Women are subservient, and and if you want to know something, that's gonna really shake your world up, just Google this. Google what does the Bible say about rape? I'm not gonna say anything else. Just Google it, and it's gonna knock you off your damn socks. You're not gonna believe it if it comes out of my mouth. So all in all, and again, I say a lot of this on the weblog as well, or the video log, whatever the hell it's called, that the movie is the movie. You know what I mean? For good or bad, it is what it is. I saw the making of it on HBO the other day, and I think that's what the text conversation started between me and Renee. And she was like, you ain't even read the thing I sent you. I was like, no, I didn't. And I saw what the kid went through to get it made, and it seems to be a very important thing to black people, as far as, in the wake of what happened last year with the Oscars so white and all this, for this thing to be getting. I mean, and then if we're going to be 100% real about a lot of this stuff, one thing is this. It's the same thing. It's Solomon Northup is 12 Years a Slave. It's still if you do a slave movie, the people at the Oscars love you. And here's the other thing: for people who are on their want to be so high up on their moral horse, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about what I was talking about throughout the entire show until this point. Talking about college and professional football. All right. All weekend long, we do it. And we watch these games, and we watch them with a non-judgmental eye. When the fact of the matter is, right now on this television that I'm looking at, right now, when the New York Giants score, a man who has been documented beat his pregnant woman, over 20 times, will be on the football field. And you let the New York Giants line up for a 45-yard game winner, and that man, his name being Josh Brown, kick a damn a game winner, and watch Giants fans go crazy. You get off your moral high horse real easy when it's your team. This kid from Michigan, that's in Seattle. The police report said that the girl's little brother and sister were running down the hall saying he's gonna kill her. He's about to kill her. But no one else found that to be peculiar or worth looking into further, the Seattle Seahawks included. But it doesn't matter. So I don't know what happened in that apartment room 17 years ago. I don't think anyone listening to the show knows what happened in that apartment room. The peculiar part to me is how definitive people are about it, and how moral people want to be about it. Like, I ain't gonna see his damn movie. You gonna start watching football, basketball, and all those things too? Saw a kid today get suspended from the NBA for domestic abuse. What about the dude that sits next to you in your cubicle at your office that's cheating on his wife and you know about it? You got any moral objections to that? It's just, I feel like people pick and choose. And if you're a member of this young lady's family, I can totally understand why you feel like you've been robbed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really put a lot of stake into that, because like even when dudes get vindicated, the family members of the victim don't want to be wrong. They'll still say, I still believe he did it. No matter DNA and all these things. And you kind of just got to get out of pass because of their emotional attachment to it. So when this lady, this young lady's sister is feeling the way she's feeling, I have to say that I understand why she feels that way. There's also a scene in the movie where I guess there's a rape, not I guess, I know. There's a rape scene that Nat Turner's wife gets raped, and it's kind of ironic, or not ironic. It's just kind of weird that she takes offense to that, and she looks at it as some sort of insensitivity, when in actuality, it's a story, man. We all know that the raping of black women was a part of American slavery, and the telling of these stories, they include some things of that nature. Straight up, you know. I don't know that I'm going to necessarily go to the theaters and watch it first week or second. I don't know. You know, if the old lady says she want to go, if she's feeling better, she's still under the weather a little bit, we'll do it. We'll do it, you know. But it's not one of those things because of what it is. I got to rush out and see it. Y'all got to go see it. Yeah, I mean, I'll eventually see. I've said it before on this. I love slave depictions. You know what I mean? I love watching them in the theaters too. I love watching them in white theaters too, so I can watch them. You know, the uncomfortable white people around me. That's like part of the joy. But also, I like to get different perspectives on that point in history, on that time in this country. You know, so many black people go into these theaters and they're like, man, I'm mad as hell, man. That's like, what you mad about? You surprised? Like, all these stories we know about already. We know how these things go. We know how 12 Years a Slave go. We know how Amistad go. We know how Roots go. We know how these things go. But you still walk in there and be surprised. This one dude, I remember this old black dude told me when we was going to see 12 Years a Slave. I didn't even know what it was. I had never heard of it. My man Golf told me what it was after I saw it. I was like, man, the old lady want to go to a movie, but I don't see nothing on. Maybe we'll just go check out the slave situation. Like, I thought it was like a time travel movie. Just how ridiculous I am. It says, the caption says something about a free man in New York gets sold back into slavery. So I'm thinking it's like a dude walking around in New York today. like the time travelers from the Chappelle show came and grabbed him and took him back to slavery. I'm such an idiot. But anyway, I get there and we looking for the movie theater, and kind of like the numbers were kind of off of the theater. And I asked the black dude who was like sweeping up the stuff. I was like, brother, where they doing 12 Years a Slave at? He's like, oh yeah, it's right up here, man. You about to be mad as hell. That's exactly what he said to me. And I was like, nah, bro, I'm not. You know what I mean? I understand the situation that we're embarking upon. Like, after I realized it wasn't a damn time travel movie, yeah, I realized that it's about to go digital up in here. And I think that movie was very well done. You know, I think, and the dude that directed it, Steve McQueen, he kind of broke it down, man. He talked about it only having like, he said a couple of minutes. I remember exactly the amount of minutes of actual violence in there was the Lupita scene. Spoiler alert for who ain't seen the movie in the last 5 years. The beating scene, there was that, and there was like, you know, one or two other things, but he compared it to like a, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie when things are blowing up and babies are being shot in the head every other minute. It's not quite the same, you know. But for what it's worth, I didn't mean to talk about this long, but I don't really feel that this is one that people should just go to their corners and not have an understanding of the other side of the issue. You know what I mean? The person who says, like Renee said to me yesterday, she said, something happened. It's kind of dangerous because that something is a big deal in this situation. You know what I mean? It's not like, you know, you skin your knee and your mama asks you how it happened. Like, I don't know. And you like, and your mama says something happened. Well, you know, this is a lot more, it's a lot more in like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It's a lot more involved in this than just something happening. Of course, something happened. The problem is only a few people know exactly what it was. And now, you know, it was a situation like, and I'm not sure the element of the apology. And my man's like, you know, I'm sorry it happened to her, but I'm not sorry for doing anything that I didn't. And I'm like, I'm all about that. Like if you convinced you ain't do nothing, ain't nothing to apologize for. That's real talk, man. And I know it sounds crass and I know it sounds cold, but it's real. Like, I get tired of people apologizing anyway, especially like those empty racist ones, and then the ones where you really not sorry, or the ones that you know you ain't done nothing. Nah, it's one of those things where the beef really is with her family and what's going on. Like, other people who are jumping on, you don't really have a dog in the fight, to be honest with you, on either side. No one, you know, the movie's a movie. Maybe one day we'll find out what actually happened in that room. I doubt it. But for now, you know, the question was asked, and let me go ahead and read these off real quick before I get up out of here today. Ellis Dean at SILLE Thoughts says, nope. And this isn't his first movie. Why is this coming up now? Talking about Nate Park, I asked if it was going to affect people's decisions to go see the movie. He says no. And he's wondering, I had the question as well, like, why now? And the answer that I came up with is because I can only assume it's because of both of them, he and his roommate. They co-wrote the movie. So the two of them together and being on such a big, like, you can understand this white lady who is this woman's sister probably didn't see the Great Debaters. Is that, I hope that's the name of it, The Debaters, or the movie about the Tuskegee Airmen. You could probably assume she didn't see those movies. But this is kind of on a big grand scale, and it's both of them being applauded and lauded for this thing that could evoke some emotion in people, and especially in the people closer to this young lady. S. Production says, no, the only reason this came out was because he's a black man making a real history movie with facts. They hate that. I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of these type of depictions have been like 12 Years a Slave was like, I mean, Django wasn't. It was satirical, but there was some things to be gleaned from Django as well. You know, real talk. But yeah, I think for the most part, when people do these movies, they do them seriously. The Roots miniseries was awesome, absolutely awesome. So you know, again, it's hard for me to go that route as well. You know, just immediately go to like, let me pull this African American card out my back pocket, smack it on the table. Yeah, I don't know. I think I had like 2 more. Yeah, here's one. Sick Fish at Robert P3743. He says, yes, sorry. I don't know why he's apologized. He's saying yes, that it will affect whether he goes and sees the movie. And I already told you guys what Renee said. Renee's like, yeah, if it come on while I'm at the crib, yeah, maybe. And then there's Matt. Yeah, there's Matt at East Point Made Me. Nope, verdict was not guilty. And I addressed that earlier. You know, a not guilty or guilty verdict to me, yeah. At this point in America, yeah. And like I can't, like I said, I told you, I read everything. It was like a book. I read everything, and even after the fact, man, there was so many different little details on. Like, the thing I don't like, and I'm gonna say this and get up out of here. I don't like when people do this thing like with the clothes. You know, like what was she wearing, and that's like, because it's like, what are you saying? And that's like a thing. That's like a thing men do. Like that one congressman or whatever he was, judge or whatever he said. You know, when he's like he talked about somebody being raped, a woman being raped, and said she needs to learn how to close her legs tighter. Like, that's unacceptable, man. Like if a woman walks out somewhere naked, that don't mean like a dude gets to just act animalistic and jump on her. That's ridiculous as hell. That's stupid. You know what I mean? No, but then there is the situation of her already having a sexual relationship with Nate, and one in which she what's the word I'm looking for? She pursued first. It's, if you get a chance, man, do some reading. You know, stay off of Facebook and getting your information from Facebook. Do the actual reading, and maybe you'll come to the same point that I'm at. Not conclusion, but just the point I'm at. Where like, you know what? There is no answer. There is no yes he did, no he didn't. There can't be any of that. Not based on what I read. This is the One Mike with Big Mike show. I'm gonna get up out of here and watch this football game. Maybe, I don't know. I'm kind of on football overload. Anyway, the show is on demand on Spreaker, the Spreaker app, also on TuneIn, Blastfy, OneMikeWithBigMike.com. Also subscribe to my iTunes because it's there as well, and on Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel because the video on demand will be there. Appreciate you, man, Matt. Appreciate you, Renee. I am No Doze. You guys for hanging in there with me. I'll come back on Wednesday, try to do it bigger and better. My man Matt Latovsky will be here. So get your fantasy football questions ready and send them to me on social media at the number 1 MICWITHBIG.